Welcome to Shantalakshmi IAS. In this video, we will discuss the MCQs related to today's current affairs. First question, which of the following countries of G20 are also members of the G7? So here indirectly he is asking the members of the G7, okay? And this is taken from the today's newspaper. So we already discussed that if any important international organizations or any summits that comes in the news, then we must make a note of that. And also we should know the members of that organization or the objectives of that organization. And here G7, it means group of 7 countries. Okay, that 7 countries are Germany, UK, France, Canada, US, Italy, Japan. Okay, and this G7 is an intergovernmental organization and that is formed in the year 1975. Okay, this G7 meets annually to discuss the common interest like global economic governance, international security, energy policy. Okay, and along with the India, these G7 countries are also part of the G20. Okay, here the members of the G20 countries are Turkey, European Union, Argentina, Brazil, South Korea, Mexico, China, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, Australia, India, South Africa, Russia. Along with Russia, and the G7 countries are also the members of the G20. Okay, so in order to remember, a simple technique is divide these countries continental wise, then it will be easy to remember all these. If you come to the question, members of the G7 who are also members of the G20. So all the members of the G7 countries are also members of the G20. Okay, and here option 1, European Union, Canada. Here Canada is a member of G7 but not European Union. So this option is wrong. India, Japan. India is a member of G20 but not a member of G7. Only Japan is the member of G7. So this option is also wrong. Italy, Germany. Italy and Germany both are members of the G7. Okay, Italy and Germany. So this is the correct answer. And France and Australia. Okay, France is a member of G7 but not the member of Australia is not the member of G7. So option C is the answer. Okay. Second question, with reference to the urban cooperative banks, consider the following statements. Urban cooperative banks, this is taken from the today's newspaper. Okay, and these cooperative banks, actually cooperative banks are also the financial entities. Okay, but they are established on the cooperative basis. It means here the customers of the bank are also its owners. So these cooperative banks belong to its members. Okay, you can see here this belongs to its members. And broadly, these cooperative banks in India are divided into 2 categories: urban cooperative banks and rural cooperative banks. Okay, and these urban cooperative banks are again classified into scheduled and non-scheduled. Okay, and in India, these cooperative banks are registered under the State Cooperative Societies Act. Okay, and these cooperative banks are also comes under the regulation of RBI. RBI regulates the cooperative banks with 2 acts. Okay, Banking Regulation Act 1949 and the Banking Laws Cooperative Society Act 1955. But recently an amendment was made to the Banking Regulation Act 2020. Okay, and with this act, RBI has got all the powers to regulate the cooperative banks. Okay, to come to the question, the UCBs, urban cooperative banks, are regulated by RBI. This statement is true, as we see that with the Banking Regulation Act 2020, it has the power. UCBs are not scheduled banks. Actually, UCBs are of 2 types, scheduled and non-scheduled. So here the statement is wrong. And the incorrect statements are asked. So incorrect statements, only 2 is wrong. So the answer is B. Okay. Third question, consider the following statements regarding the WHO, okay, World Health Organization. This is taken from the today's newspaper. And in these times of COVID-19, WHO is playing a major role. So a question regarding the WHO can be expected in the examination. Okay, WHO, actually this is an agency of the United Nations for health. Okay, and this is founded in the year 1948 with the headquarters at Geneva of Switzerland. And currently, there are 194 member states. Okay, and the objectives of this WHO are to act as the directing and coordinating authority on international health work. And also, it will establish and maintain effective collaboration with the United Nations. Okay, it also provide assistance to the governments if they request in strengthening the health services. If they want to strengthen the health services of their country, and if they request, then WHO will provide assistance to that governments. And also it will promote cooperation among the scientific and professional groups which contribute to the advancement of health. These are all the objectives of the WHO. So for any organization, you need to know about its objectives, its purpose. Okay, and also its establishment. Okay, come to the question. WHO is established in the year 1948 and is headquartered at Geneva. This statement is true. Okay, it is aimed to act as the directing and coordinating authority on international health work. This is also true, as it is one of its objectives. And wrong statements are asked. So none of the above are wrong. Neither one is wrong nor two is wrong. So the answer is C. Okay. Fourth question. Consider the following statements regarding the governor. Okay. This is taken from the today's newspaper. Governor. Article 153 to Article 162 of the 150 from Article 153 to Article 162 deals with the governor. Okay. If you come to the discretionary powers of the governor, okay, if there is no clear majority among the parties, and here the governor has the discretion to choose a candidate for the chief minister. Okay, he can appoint the chief minister who will put together a majority coalition as soon as possible. And also, he can withhold his assent to a bill and send it to the president for his approval. It means if he doesn't want to give his assent to any bill, or if he feels that president's approval is required for the particular bill, then he can withhold his assent, or he can put that bill in reserve for the president's approval. To come to the question, governor has the power to appoint the high court judges. Actually, governor has the power to appoint only district court judges, and these high court judges are appointed by the president in consultation with the governor, but they are not appointed by the governor. They are appointed by the president in consultation with the governor. Okay, and this statement is wrong. Okay. Second, governor can reserve certain bills passed by the state legislature for consideration of the president of India. This statement is true because this is one of his discretionary powers. Third, in case of death of a sitting governor of a state, the CJI of the concerned state, the chief justice of the concerned state high court will discharge the functions of the governor of the state. Actually, the president, if there is a vacancy of the governor of a state, then the president may transfer a governor appointed from one state to another state for the rest of the term. Okay, and if there is a governor whose term has expired, he can also be reappointed in the same state or any other state. Okay, and the governor can also hold his office beyond his term of 5 years until his successor assumes charge. It means that our Indian constitution doesn't want the post of governor to be vacant. Okay, so in such situations, if there is a sudden demise of the sitting governor, then the president has these options to do, but the chief justice of that state high court cannot discharge the powers of governor of that state. So the statement is wrong. And which of the following statements are incorrect? Asking the wrong statements. 1 and 3 are wrong. So the answer is C. Okay. Fifth question. Consider the following statements regarding the Sankalp scheme. Okay. Sankalp. This is taken from the PIB. The aim of this Sankalp scheme is to strengthen the institutional mechanisms for skill development, and also to increase access to quality and market relevant training for youth across the country. It means that it will strengthen the institutional mechanisms for skill development, okay, and also it increases the access to quality and market relevant training for the youth. Sankalp means skills acquisition and knowledge awareness for livelihood promotion, and this was launched in the year 2018. This is implemented by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Okay, and the major thing is that this Sankalp scheme is assisted by the World Bank. Okay, here we can see that the correct statements are asked, and it is implemented by the Ministry of Labor and Employment. This statement is wrong because it is implemented by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. It is assisted by the World Bank. This statement is true. Okay, it is aimed to strengthen institutional mechanisms for skill development. This is also true, and the correct statements are asked. Only 2 and 3 are correct, so the answer is C. Okay, and that's for today. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe.